We have 50,000 or more thoughts a day in our head. 80% of those are unconscious, 20% are conscious. Most of them are negative, which is wildly crazy. And I'm going to show you how you can decide which of those thoughts you want to keep, which of those are yours, and which ones to get rid of, and how to make new thoughts happen in your head. When I was a kid, I didn't grow up with my dad. My parents were divorced when I was 2, and I was always told that I was a weakling, right? And I had 2 sisters, one younger, one older, who were like setting school records and championship records for their athleticism. And I was just the opposite. I was the skinny, tiny little weakling. And I actually believed that well into my 40s, actually 50s. And the crazy thing is that I only changed what I thought when I examined it in light of new information that I got. I started asking the question. So many of the people that were my age seemed weaker, seemed less fit, seemed out of shape. And then I got a genetic test that showed that my dad and I both had like Olympic level physical genetics, which blew my mind. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, I don't know much about my dad. So I asked him, I said, well, how are you? Did you do sports as a kid? He goes, yeah, I was the captain of the basketball team, the quarterback. I mean, it was like this radically amazing, lettered and everything, like super athlete. And I had no idea. And the fact of the matter is, it's because of my dad's athleticism and physicality that he lived to 94. And so that totally broke my mind, because I was like, well, I've always believed this thought, but whose thought was it? It wasn't mine. It was just something I picked up along the way. And so I changed my thought. I examined my thought. I changed my thought. And I went out and I decided to work out and become much more physical. And as a result, I'm like far more physical and far stronger than most of the people my age now. And I'm on a path in the next 2 years to be in the top 1%. Just because I had a thought that was wrong, it kept me from being physical and athletic when I was young. However, since I changed that thought, it's now changed my life. The fact of the matter is, really famous people like Tony Robbins, David Goggins, what's his name? Tom Bilyeu, the guy who made Quest Nutrition. And like all of these guys started out literally on the couch thinking they were worthless because they had been told that by society or family or something else. And at some point, something snapped and they decided to change their mind. Now, each of them had a different process, like I had a different process. But once you realize that something might not be true that you believe, you begin to examine all of it if you want to. And you can find those blind spots. You can find those places where you're believing something that's absolutely not true because your family, your society, your peers, some bad experience gave you a belief, or you kept that belief, and now it's part of your life, and it's keeping you from your greatness, or it's keeping you from your success, or it's keeping you from your happiness. The first step is to recognize that maybe what you're thinking isn't true. You have to have, like, that door has to crack open and you go, maybe it's not true. You know, maybe I am, for example, maybe I do have some athleticism because this, and this. Because what happens is the minute you question the false belief, you begin to find evidence of its counter. So you begin to see, well, you know, actually I was pretty good here. Everybody says I have so much energy and I can go longer, and I can go for longer on hikes, and I can keep working for more hours. And, you know, you realize that you have stamina and you have a higher constitution and so forth. It begins to change your worldview. And once you begin that view, you can begin looking for other things. The second thing is to begin examining your thoughts. So, for example, Dr. Daniel Amen has something called ANTS, automatic negative thoughts. And there's a couple of people, psychologists and so forth, have gone through this process and figured these things out. And they're all about saying, is the thought I'm having true and real? Remember, 50,000 thoughts a day. A lot of them are going to be false, whether it's about politics or health or the world or friendships or does this person love me or whatever. Most of these things are false. So we're walking around with this misperception of the world. So we have to begin examining the thoughts that we have and asking the questions around that. And then the third thing is to decide to change them intentionally. So, for example, it's really easy to embed a thought. The key is that we're going to turn the tide on your subconscious mind from automatic negative thoughts by using affirmations with energy and power and force and emotion, as Tony Robbins teaches. We're going to do that, and we're going to change your subconscious mind's belief about yourself. The next step is realizing that some people are going to want to keep you there, right? Those are the 3 basic steps. You're going to have to learn that you may want to change your exterior environment to match the interior belief system. Because part of what happens is that people allow their external world to be a mirror of their internal world. You may need to find some better, happier, positive friends who believe in you. You may need to get a new job if this job doesn't fit your worldview of who you want to be, what you want to do, and what you want to have for your life. You may need to find, if you're in a relationship, you need to find a way to help your partner see you differently. see your good qualities, see your higher end qualities, and so forth. And you may need to change some of your world. A sparrow lives in the trees, but an eagle lives at 20,000 feet, looking down from all above. If you want to be a sparrow with a small world and go from little branch to little branch, that's fine. But if your vision of yourself, if your belief in yourself, if your understanding of your true nature is that you're an eagle or a falcon and that you can fly super high, then what we want to do is help you get there. And this may require a little bit of change. You know, there's a motivational speaker, Les Brown, and he said, it doesn't matter what town you're in, there's always a bus out of there into someplace better. And I say that because it doesn't matter where you are in your life right now. It doesn't matter what's happened to you or what you believe. There's always a way to improve your life. And understanding, what are these thoughts I'm having? Are they true? Are they real? What's the real truth? And then how do I enforce and empower the real truth in my brain again and again and again until it becomes reality? So again, first you have to recognize that some of the thoughts you're having, maybe a good portion of the thoughts you're having, are not true, not real, not yours. They came from someplace else. The second thing you have to recognize is that you can examine them and decide which ones you want to keep and which ones are true and which ones are helpful to you. And the third thing you can do is you can begin to create affirmations and new positive beliefs about yourself and change up your external world, use vision boards, what have you, whatever you want, so that you can begin to change your mind and now win the day with your mind. And the real key here is that if you want these things, you can have them, you can create them, you can do it. It's going to require a willingness and an openness to change. And that's why we created the multi-page guide for you. So you can download it, print it out, and use it to change your mind, to think about what you're thinking about, to decide how you want to think and how you want to be. And you can read things in the morning and you can read them again at night and help you begin to orchestrate and create the life you want from the inside out. And it's called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. So you'll change your thoughts, you change your life.